Hello, I'm going to be reviewing the 1993 horror comedy Leprechaun, which is this one. It came out, I said 1993, and it's written and directed by Mark Jones. And of course, it stars Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, Jennifer Aniston as Tori Redden, Ken Olant as Nathan Murray, Mark Holton as Ozzy, and Robert Hy Gorman as Alec. Um, Basic plot of this movie, most people have probably, people who watch horror movies probably already seen this movie. It's about well, first this starts off with a man named Dan O'Grady who travels to Ireland, and he comes back and you find out eventually that he stole a pot of gold from a leprechaun, so the leprechaun is coming after him to get it back. The leprechaun kills O'Grady's wife and causes O'Grady to have a stroke. But before O'Grady has the stroke, and he manages to encase the leprechaun into a wooden crate and put a four-leaf clover on top of it to trap him in there. Because in this movie, a four-leaf clover actually can kill or stop a leprechaun. The movie flashes to 10 years later, and it's a, a, a father and daughter. The daughter's Jennifer Aniston. They're going to North Dakota to fix up an old abandoned house. Um, so while they're there, they meet up with a group of painters who is whose names are Nathan, Ozzy, and Alex. And uh, Ozzy is kind of like he's an adult man, but he has a mindset of a child, and it's not like an insult or anything. He has like a learning disability or something like that makes him have a mentality of a child. And then Alex is a young boy he's actually a young boy, but Ozzy, the mentally handicapped one, he goes down to the basement because he hears a noise, and he accidentally lets the leprechaun out of the crate because he moves the four-leaf clover, and the leprechaun comes out and attacks him. So Ozzy tells, you know, Jennifer Aniston's character and Nathan and all that, oh, there's a leprechaun there, it's trying to kill me and this and that. They go down, they don't see it. Then they see Ozzy and Alex see a rainbow. And so they go investigate, and they find a old truck with a pot of gold in it. And while they're sitting there, Ozzy's chewing on one of them to see if it's actually real. And for some reason, I don't know how he did it, he swallows the coin. So that pisses off the leprechaun even more, and Ozzy becomes a target because he swallowed the coin. And, the Leprechaun horror movie, chaos ensues, and that's basically the plot. Now, I want to tell you this. I do like this franchise for what it is. I mean, I seen these movies when I was a kid, so I already know that they're stupid and goofy horror movies, and because they're horror comedies. But most people, like I said, most people who are horror fans already know this. But people who are not really familiar with the franchise, these are all, besides Origins, they're all horror comedies. But watching the movie now, because I had seen him as a kid, and I seen him like when I got older. I seen him like here and there, like just something to watch to pass the time. But now, rewatching it now, I can really pick up on how low budget and campy it is. Um, so like I guess I'll get into the acting. The acting's not really that great in this movie, even from like Jennifer Aniston. And I think mainly it's because the type of character she's playing. She's playing this, city slicker, prissy valley girl, and she just comes off as very annoying. And this is one thing I really didn't understand. Maybe okay, so she goes with her dad to North Dakota, and her dad's more like a country boy kind of thing, kind of person, like a farmer, like I don't know, a farmer, but I won't call him redneck, but he's more of a rural country kind of person. And Jennifer Aniston's like this, valley girl, really prissy and stuck up. And it just didn't make sense to me. Maybe like when she was younger, like maybe her parents got divorced and she lived with like her mom or something like that. But I just found it kind of weird. Like they didn't have like kind of like the same mindset on things. Also, Mark Holton, who plays Ozzy. Now I know he played in Pee Wee's Big Adventure, but I always remember him as John Wayne Gacy from the movie Gacy. So like, and when I was watching this movie, I kept thinking like, oh my god, that's John Wayne Gacy. But anyways, I thought he did a decent job. He's supposed to be playing an adult man that has the mentality of a child, and I thought he did a pretty good job with that. Um, the guy who plays Nathan, Ken Olant, he's just there to kind of be the pretty boy, and he is Jennifer Aniston's love interest in the movie. Um, I call him a Kevin Bacon knockoff because he kind of looks like Kevin Bacon a little bit. But I didn't really like the acting from him. I felt that he was kind of wooden and meh. Uh, I don't know. And then the little kid, who plays Alex, Robert High Gorman, I really didn't like him either. I found him extremely annoying. And I know he was a child. It's a child actor and stuff, but I don't know. I just couldn't stand him. I mean, I guess they did play the parts pretty well. At least the Mark Holton and Jennifer Aniston, and maybe in the kid. But I could really tell with this time around that the acting wasn't that great. Um, Now special effects. There's not really that many deaths in this movie. There's a scene where like the leprechaun jumps on a guy with a pogo stick, and I remember the scene being a lot funnier when I was younger, but now, like, the scene leading up to when he jumps on the guy, like, when it goes to slow-mo and stuff, that scene made me bust out laughing for some reason. I don't know why, but it did. But the Pogo's kill stick scene, that was okay. I remember it being a little bit gorier for some reason, but it was decent, I guess. And, there's also I think the best kill in here is when it's kind of long, is when he kills the cop, but there's like this whole chase scene, and then he snaps the cop's neck, but it's the scene afterwards when like Jennifer Aniston's running around, and she finds the cop car, she jumps in, and it's the same cop that the leprechaun killed previously. Well, she stabs the leprechaun in the eye and pokes out his eyeball, so the leprechaun grabs the guy's eyeball and sticks it in his own eye socket. And I thought the gore effect for that looked pretty good when he pulled the guy's eyeball out. And then there's the big effect when the leprechaun dies. It's like a melting effect. It kind of reminded me of like the Howling 4, the original Nightmare, I believe it's called. There's like a transformation scene in that movie where a guy's like melting and stuff, and it looked really good. And this kind of reminds me of that scene, and I thought that scene looked really amazing for the special effects. Uh, like I said, there's a lot of humor in this movie. Some of it lands, some of it doesn't. like his little limericks and stuff are kind of annoying, but I understand that's what they do. I don't know why. I really do like these movies, but watching it again now, some of the stuff just seems it's like really cheesy and annoying for some reason. Um, but I think the most famous line out this movie that I like is that, fuck you, Lucky Charms, when the kid Alex shoots the four-leaf clover into the leprechaun's mouth. But like I said, some of the humor lands and some of it doesn't. Like the pogo stick scene, that was kind of funny to me. You gotta have like a dark sense of humor. Some of this. Also the scene where Jennifer Aniston's character's walking through like this nursing home trying to find Dan O'Grady because we find out that he didn't actually die, that he was stuck in a nursing home for 10 years. And they need to go to him to find out how to destroy the leprechaun or whatever. But the leprechaun is chasing her through the hospital and he's in this wheelchair. And it's like he's like sped up and she's not. And it was just a really funny scene to me for some reason. Like just how it looked when he was in the wheelchair. It was really goofy. Also in that scene, there was some interesting camera angle shots in that, and there was like a really good suspense scene where like she's walking through the nursing home and she sees a shadow and it looks like the leprechaun, but then she looks in and it's just like a broom and gloves and stuff like in a janitor's closet. I thought that scene was done pretty well. Uh, the the lore about the leprechaun was pretty good. Like about him, he has to shine shoes. Like one of his weaknesses is that if he sees shoes that are dirty, he has to shine them. Or like his motive for why he wants to kill people is because the people took his gold, and also that a four-leaf clover is the only thing that can kill a leprechaun. Of course, later in the franchise, it changes on like what can kill him and what can stop him. I think the shoe thing only stays the same. I remember like I watched 2 and 3 and in 2 the shoe thing is still there. But I also forgot to mention for like one of the humor scenes, there's like a scene where the leprechaun's looking for his gold in like this cabinet, and he pulls out a box of Lucky Charms and he eats it. He sees like the leprechaun on it and he eats it and he spits it out and he's like, ooh, this is nasty or something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say about this movie. Like the set design like of the house, it's just like a creepy rundown farmhouse. Um that's that's it really. It works somewhat to its advantage. Uh, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this movie. There's not really much going on in it. It's a simple low budget horror movie. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know how this movie spawned a franchise of 8 films, but I do enjoy most of these movies. But anyways, that's my review of Leprechaun. Oh, hold on a minute. I forgot to mention something before I go. There's they also Tori or not Tori. Well, her name's Tori in the movie, but Jennifer Aniston character Tori, she has a cell phone, and for some reason in this movie, the cell phone actually works. But and these are like older model cell phones because this movie came out in '93. The cell phone in this movie works, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. But in these recent horror movies and shit, the cell phones never work. Or, and I just thought it was kind of funny that a movie from 1993, the cell phone actually works, and it was used to an advantage because they actually called the police on it. But in these modern horror movies, the cell phones never work for some reason. Yeah, I'm sorry, but anyways, That's my review of Leprechaun.